water? Or we don't know, or are they?
We're not clear. They just gave the information that the vessels were capsized and how many people were down there.
So just to clarify, both were capsized?
Both were capsized when rescuers and federal agents got on scene.
How many confirmed dead are there?
We've lost 8 souls.
Are there children involved? Did you say that already? Adults?
They're all adults.
Do we know if the two boats crashed into each other, causing the capsizing?
We don't know.
We don't know what caused the capsize?
No.
The nationalities?
It was the fog, surf conditions, pitch black down there. There's no lighting from the coast down there. So without navigation lights or a plan to navigate well, it's just a difficult landing and extrication.
Do you have their nationalities?
We don't.
Did you notice that? Is it too soon to say they have ID on them or anything else like that?
We don't have any of that information at this time. So right now, U.S. Coast Guard and lifeguards are still in recovery mode, and we'll still continue to search with air assets, sea assets, and land assets until later this afternoon.
Especially with those air assets, I mean, it was incredibly foggy this morning. How did it impact things, and also are you expecting to find more bodies, maybe as it lifts up?
The conditions last night prohibited San Diego Fire Rescue air assets, so all air assets were brought by the federal partners, and they can speak to their assets.
I'm sorry, could you clarify how many were on each boat and the 8 were all aboard that one boat? Is that correct?
The reporting party said it was 15 and 8. 15 on one vessel, 8 on another. Both vessels were capsized when we arrived on scene.
And the 8 who died were all on that vessel with the 15, or you don't know?
We don't know. Yeah, when we arrived on scene, it was 2 capsized vessels and people who had perished on the beach and in the water. So we did our best to rescue those that were out in the water and then work any viable candidates.
So lifeguards entered the water to rescue those boats and captured?
Yes.
What about the survivors? What do we know about that?
As I said, no local assets, no law enforcement, rescue, or federal assets encountered any survivors at the scene.
Not even the woman that called?
No. By the time we got there, there was nobody there.
All adults, men, women?
Yeah, we don't have the demographics. You'll have to contact the county medical examiner's office.
Pause right there. Thank you all for coming out. Since we are in the Q&A section, please limit it to one and one follow-up. There's a lot of you, so we'll get through it that way. If a speaker is speaking to the specific agency questions, they'll come up, but let's just be respectful of everyone here and get their questions in. So one and one follow-up, please.
What's your name and rank?
James Gartland, San Diego Lifeguard Chief, JAMES, Gartland, GARTLAND.
So just to be real clear, so the woman said there was 15. You don't have that confirmed. You just know 8 people dead, and she said that there were 15.
That's what the reporting party reported, yeah, to the 911 dispatcher.
Commander Spindler, about to answer her question about the air conditions.
Yes, ma'am. So around 1 in the morning, a Coast Guard 60 got airborne. It was the only aircraft that was able to get up due to the weather. When they arrived on scene, visibility was about 50 yards. The lowest they could get was down to 100 feet. They couldn't see the water very well, even with night vision goggles. So they did a few legs of the search pattern and determined that the risk exceeded their ability to do a search effectively, so they returned to base. They should be launching here shortly if they're not already airborne, and we expect to continue the search until after lunch. It all depends on the survivability of the water and the number of people there.
And then after lunch?
It'll be determined then based on any information we have and whatever new information we can gain between now and then. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yes, one more. I don't know who will pretend that, but how is the government working out with authorities south of the border in regards of the one or two groups or cartels, but especially groups that are handling all this wave of boats crossing the border in that way. Do you have any leads on how and any help from the community to know anything from south of the border?
All that Border Patrol. I'll let Border Patrol follow up to the first part of your question. But the second part, I think awareness. If we can continue to provide awareness that every time they get into a panga to come northbound, their lives are at risk. The real number of deaths in the California coastal region is unknown. Often these boats are overloaded, the maintenance is poor, and they often do it like weather last night, where it's very little visibility. It's very challenging for anybody to operate in those conditions. They were likely one of the very few mariners out there at sea. So I'll let Border Patrol answer the first part.
So for your question, Eric Laverne, Special Operations Supervisor with the San Diego Sector Border Patrol. I can't speak to any specific... So we continue to work with our partners in Mexico and the government of Mexico. I can't speak specifically to targeting any specific groups that are responsible for maritime smuggling, but our relationship is quite strong with our partner agencies down there in Mexico, be it ANAMI, Sedana, or SEMAR.
Any other questions?
Do you have any
Go ahead.
Do you have any numbers on smuggling incidents, or can you at least speak generally about the trends with smuggling?
We'll have to look up the exact numbers, but we've had a couple hundred events this fiscal year. It's in keeping with the last few fiscal years. Usually around, I believe this year we're around 300 maritime events, but that encounters swimmers, surfboards, pangas, pleasure craft, and everything else.
And do you know, follow-up, is this the deadliest maritime incident that in Border Patrol history that you know of, or that
I am not aware.
One of the
yeah, I'm sure it is one of them. I don't know if this is the deadliest, but it should be one of the most deadly maritime events in San Diego's history.
All set? Thank you.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Thanks, sir.
See you.